Thanks for joining us. And today we're going to talk about 3 secrets of meditation in Kriya Yoga. So there are 3 secrets of meditation in Kriya Yoga which have to do with the nature of phenomenal existence. And this is called tilakkhana. And these 3 characteristics of phenomena are impermanence, or anicca, suffering, or dukkha, and not self, or anatta. And so when one is able to cognize these 3 characteristics of phenomena while one is having an experience in meditation, one can use these as secrets or doors to move into deeper meditative states. And if one fails to recognize these 3 characteristics in meditation, normally people get stuck or plateau in their meditation. And an example of this is where many Kriya yogis have a challenge when they are in dharana, or some kind of internalized concentration, and the body has perhaps disappeared. They may be in the tranquil breath. They're in a very calm, low, idle state, but their consciousness doesn't go beyond that. They're stuck in this plateau. It's like being in the waiting room of an airport before taking a flight. One is not able to go into dhyana, into absorption. One is not able to go into samadhi. And so one is internally concentrated on dharana, which is a calm state, but it is not an expansive state. What most people in the Kriya Yoga community want is to have a meditation where their consciousness expands beyond that internalization. They want to move into dhyana, into absorption. They want to move into samadhi, the superconscious awareness. And so what normally happens when Kriya yogis get stuck in that state of dharana and are able to progress no further, they're failing to realize how their craving for an expanded state of consciousness is holding them back. And so what they need to do is to see the state as impermanent and let go of any craving associated with this. What this does is that one is able then to release the hindrance of restlessness. And when one lets go of that hindrance of restlessness, something happens in the meditation and one starts to progress naturally into the next state of absorption, which is this expansion of awareness, or this infinite spaciousness, what is also called the 5th jhana. And so if one is able to see the impermanence of that state of internalized concentration and to let go of one's attachment, the craving to wanting to progress in that state or stabilize it, one will find oneself spontaneously moving into a deeper meditative state, because that's the way that it works. One has let go of the mental hindrance of restlessness. And as a result, that impediment disappears and one goes automatically into the next deeper state. Similarly, if one has an experience of infinite consciousness, where one experiences this blissful merging, apparent merging between one's consciousness and greater consciousness, many yogis who get into samadhi will have this experience, and it seems to be this never-ending bliss, what is called satchitananda. And one may think that this is the soul, this is the Atman, and this is the union between the Atman, the soul, and the Paramatman, God. And so many Kriya yogis who have had that experience will want to bring that experience into everyday life, where they want to maintain that blissful awareness 24/7 and say that this is the true nature of who I am. This just upliftment, this joy, this ever new joy that is always coming up, always bubbling up. The challenge is that if one identifies with that state, one again gets stuck in that state. They can go no further in meditation. One will attain what is called the 6th jhana, the meditative state of infinite consciousness, which has this feeling, this blissful quality to it. And so if one is accustomed to having that experience, one sees only one aspect of the state and doesn't realize what is actually the true nature of that blissful state. The apparent bliss is really a composite of consciousness arising and consciousness disappearing. So the arising of consciousness has this blissful feeling, and the dissolution of consciousness. And so if instead of identifying with the state of this bliss and saying that this is the ultimate and there can be no further development, if one realizes the true nature of this state, one will recognize that it cannot provide lasting satisfaction, that it is always a push and a pull. It is always an arising and dissolution, and one cannot hang one's hat on that and have permanent lasting happiness, because it's always subject to change. And so if one wants to progress in meditation, what one needs to do is to see the true nature of that state and to let go of the craving for the bliss, to see things as they are and recognize that there's an inherent dissatisfactory nature to that state, that it is transitory and that it cannot be ever permanent or everlasting. And so if one is able to let go of one's craving for bliss, one will recognize and realize that there is a state beyond that, the state beyond the blissful experience, which is moving into a state of nothingness, which is called the seventh jhana. So similarly, one may have an experience in the higher jhanas, in the seventh jhana, the jhana of nothingness, or in the eighth jhana, which is the jhana of neither perception nor non-perception. And especially one may have an experience in something called nirvikalpa samadhi, or what is sometimes called nirbija samadhi, the samadhi without an object. And so these are very rarefied states that very few yogis attain. However, one can attain that, but also be stuck in a plateau and not be able to progress beyond that. And so one can identify with these higher states of meditation as happening to the self, but not be able to progress beyond that. And the reason is because one is clinging to the idea of the self. But those subtle phenomena that are in those higher meditation states are actually impersonal phenomena that are coming because of the law of karma, because of the cycle of samsara, the cycle of rebirth. So those phenomena come into being, and if one identifies with it, one is stuck at that level again. But if one recognizes that those are impermanent processes, and then one lets go of that craving, one will actually see them in their true impersonal nature. And when that happens, one may touch the unconditioned absolute, which is called nibbana or nirvana. And when that happens, the mind stops and everything changes. And this can result in the cessation of feeling, perception, and consciousness. And so when one's consciousness returns from touching the unconditioned absolute and starts to see the subtle nature of phenomena arising as one's mind restarts, one may be able to see the true nature of existence, the true nature of phenomena, and have a realization, see things as they are, to have an awakening. And so one needs to let go of that craving for self, the craving to see things as happening to oneself, to let go of all aspects of that and to see the true impersonal nature of the phenomena. That changes everything. And so those three characteristics of nature, impermanence, suffering, and not self, are secrets that one can use to progress in Kriya Yoga and to progress in one's spiritual sadhana. So if you have any questions about this video, feel free to send me an email at info@modernkriya.com. Also check our website at modernkriya.com and our YouTube channel. So thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time.